A lot of you know that I rarely sit down when I'm working. Even in my office, I have a standing desk and I never sit. Well, lately I've been working on a lot of artwork, and it's very detailed artwork, and this workbench is not a good surface because I'm constantly hunched over like that. Sometimes I'll sit because I might be working for hours on end, but this chair also is causing me neck strain and back strain from just sitting so long. So what I need is a standing desk that will also serve as a better podcast station. So this is my podcast booth that I've been using for 4 years and telling myself I was gonna make a new one, but I never did. So I just kind of wheel it out like this, and it's kind of janky because I've got this stool and then I've just set a couple of 2x4s on there that I can use my laptop on because I like to stand. So hopefully a standing desk will just take care of all this and make me sleep a little bit easier knowing that this is gone. I don't have the space for storing full sheets of plywood in my shop, so I only buy what I need for a project and then break it down immediately when I bring it home. The top of this desk is going to be 2 feet by 4 feet, so I can just chop off 2 feet on one end. This is going to make the grain kind of going in a weird direction. Usually I like it to go the long way, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to put a piece of hardboard over the top of this. So besides the top, I can build this whole project using just this miter saw. This project is extra simple and actually pretty rare because you can cut all of the pieces at once, with the exception of the lower brace. Save that for later. I'm going to start by making the 2 leg assemblies, and I think I have a plan to square this up. What I'll do is I'll put these 2 cross braces like this, and then I can use these long boards. These are the top pieces, and I can just kind of line this all up like that. So this will just help me square this up. I'm not looking for perfection here. I mean, I'm building this out of 2x4s. I'll hold this all together with 2.5-inch screws. I'll drill pilot holes first. Normally it's not a problem to drive screws through 2x4s without too much fear of them splitting, but in this case these pilot holes are going to help prevent these boards from sliding around if I were to just drive the screws in directly. Since I've got them all squared up, I want to kind of keep them that way. Actually, I think a better method is just to drive 1 screw into each corner, because then you still have some room for movement this way to square it up using a framing square. So I can just put this in here and do something like this. All right, so there's the 2 legs. So what I want to do now is join this top cross piece, 2 of them, like this. I should be able to do that on the floor. Also, if you're thinking this doesn't look tall enough to be a standing desk, it's not at this point. I'm going to add another 5 inches with the wheels on the bottom of it. So what I want to do is put 2 screws on each of these, but I want them to go through this cross piece here, not this leg, because that's end grain and it won't hold very well. Now I can cut out that lower cross brace. It's gonna go down here. And the reason why I didn't want to cut that at the beginning is because I'm not sure exactly what that dimension is. What I need to do is measure this distance from this to here and cut it at that size. And then what I can do is when I attach it, you know, I can just pull these legs in or push them out so that I get a good fit. So I'll attach the top with 1.5-inch screws. So I designed this so that it should have about a 2-inch overhang on every side. So I'm just getting it close. I'm not going to worry about drilling pilot holes on these. Now I can attach the casters. So this is the second project I've used these casters on, and I have to show them to you because I think this is the best deal ever. These are 4-inch casters. You know what I'm gonna do is I'll leave a link in the description. It's not an affiliate link, I just think these things are really cool and it's a great deal. For $27, look what you get. These are locking casters and they roll really nicely, but best of all, look at this. It comes with its own screwdriver and a wrench to help you install them however you want to install them. You can install them using screws or you can install them using nuts and bolts. I mean, $27, that's crazy. So naturally I'm going to be using the screws and I'm not going to be using the free screwdriver, but I have a tip about these freebie screwdrivers that you get from time to time, say at IKEA or whatever. So they're not really good enough for driving a whole lot of screws, but what I like to do is keep these as kind of dedicated screwdrivers wherever I happen to need a screwdriver for certain tools. So like I keep one right near my table saw with the table saw so that I can change my throat plate with it. I keep one of these in a drawer on my router so that I can easily change out my router plates, and so I don't have to go searching for a screwdriver every time I want to do these tasks. Now it's looking like a standing desk. Right now it kind of racks side to side a little bit, so to stabilize that I think I'm going to put a back on it. I've got a piece of 1/2-inch plywood that I can use for this. I'd prefer to use 1/4 inch just because it's cheaper, but I don't have any 1/4 inch on hand. That's sturdy. The problem with my shop is that the whole concrete floor has got cracks and it's uneven, so it's like you have to find the right spot for it to work. But usually what I do is like with my table saw, I've got this wedge that I just keep on the floor. So I can just kick it under one of the wheels and that will stabilize it. Like that. And finally I'm going to attach this piece of hardboard. It's actually called masonite. And I just like the smooth surface it has. And I'm just gonna tack it down so that if I ever need to replace it, I can just peel it off. I suppose it goes without saying, but if you don't have an air compressor and a brad nailer, just use brads and a hammer. So I designed this so that in case I ever do want to sit down, I can use this stool. That's also perfect. I've been waiting a long time to do this. Look at this. Hell yeah. If you ever do podcasting, you gotta get one of these red box things. I'm not really sure the point of it, but you know, you gotta have one. All I know is that my podcast studio is always covered in sawdust. Hello, hello. Hey, if you haven't checked out my podcast, Creative Culture, just thinking here, this might fit underneath here for storage. Oh yeah, look at that. That's how you make efficient use out of a small space. See, I've got a lot of tools and stuff in here. All kinds of junk that I rarely use. Hey, thanks for watching this video. This video has been sponsored by all of you over on Patreon. Thanks a lot for helping me keep these videos sponsor free.